now already. So. Cool. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another Thinking Out Loud. This is episode number 22.
Yes.
Today I decided to take the reins, and you could see his surprised face over there. He's
I'm
like,
not,
huh?
I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised. He needs to. I talk more than he does, and I talk too much.
Yeah.
So he needs to step it up.
Yeah, I need to let my balls drop already.
You need to get your vocabulary, your grammar. You need to get your grammar up.
You know, I finished a book this week, actually.
I'm surprised. Tell me, tell me your book. Tell me your book.
So the book is called The Monk Who Sold His Red Ferrari. It's kind of like a self-enlightenment book, essentially.
Let me guess. He realized he had. I don't know. What the fuck is the book about?
No. Go ahead. Let me hear your
Bro,
most educated
the monk who
guess.
sold his Ferrari. Like
Exactly.
it sounds like some self-help.
It is some self-help bullshit. But the self-help bullshit.
Like you don't own a
helped
Ferrari.
me. Okay, so this is a good segue into the book that I'm reading, or that I finished. I'm not reading it anymore. I did finish it. So yeah, basically it's like a self-help book. You know, a big shot Wall Street guy, CEO. Basically is like going through it, losing his hair, stressing all the time, but he has all the money in the world, whatever, right? So he's trying to find enlightenment. So the way he finds enlightenment is traveling all the way across from fucking New York to Hey, you're a hater, bro.
Bro, what's that fool?
So anyways,
like only this man.
Like the point is that the book is supposed to teach you good habits about your thinking, about how you eat, you know, self-help shit.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Like your gut is a mind, right? So
That's
what
true.
you put into your gut will transfer into your body.
Yeah, that's okay.
Right.
Well, the gut thing is true on a biological level.
Yeah, it
because
is true.
we do have a biome in our gut.
Mhm.
Our gut has tons of other bacteria, like probiotic. I mean, they're bacteria, and there's they call them probiotics because they're pro as in good for you, right?
Yeah.
And so I do agree that like your diet, like you said, yeah, like what you put into your body does affect your brain. Like there is a level of like nutritional value in what you put into your body that does affect your brain. Like, like you don't think about it at all, but like one of the easiest ways to tell is like when you're very hungry.
Mm.
It's like we've talked about this before. Like it's your instinct over your conscious mind.
Mhm.
Like. Is your body telling you you're hungry? And when you say my body is telling me, what do you mean your body's telling you? Like, how does your body communicate with you? And in some sense, you're like, well, my stomach starts to growl. Okay, so it's growling, and that is like sending a signal to the brain telling you, hey, you need to eat now, not eat a lot. I like that a lot. I like that idea. I've learned, I think like since as long as I've known this like fact or like this, this way of thinking about the body, I'm just more conscious. I'm not saying I eat healthy because I eat whatever the fuck I want, but I also work out enough to understand that like, well, if I'm gonna intake X amount of calories, make sure you're burning X amount of calories.
So let me ask you: do you think you're in the healthiest shape of your life you've ever been?
You know what? That might actually maybe yeah, because I would say I was healthy 10 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And then maybe there was a small period of time where I was unhealthy. And then now I think I'm working my way back. And it's a small period of time. But I think like in the long run, I think I've been relatively healthy.
And here's the interesting, right? Is the interesting the interesting thing is that in the book, basically one of the chapters just talks about how in your mid-20s you start to understand things a little better. Like you notice your knees hurting after a long day of work. You notice the food, how it makes you feel. These type of things, right? Which what they say is your brain maturing or your brain being at full development, essentially. Right?
Mm-hmm.
But my point is that because you're starting to feel healthy like that and you're in your mid-20s, you're really about to be in the prime of your life. And that is super exciting because I'm about to as well.
Yeah, I don't disagree that as we go into our mid to late 20s, we're sort of coming into our own. And I guess that's kind of how it should be because, I mean, you don't necessarily want to I mean, you kind of have to grow up in a sense, and that's like their way of saying. That's like some people's way of saying like you have to grow up. Like not only that our brain fully starts to develop at that age, and then like, with, in our society, there's like this idea that like if you're in that area, in that time period of your life, you're sort of still figuring things out.
Yeah.
Right. Because you're kind of in some stages of life, you're kind of expected to already have it all figured out, if not figuring it out for yourself. And that's not easy.
Right. And
this monk guy, though.
That right there, that's the detrimental effects of social media, because you see these younger children, this younger generation, quote unquote, have it figured out, or at least portray an image of having figured it out.
Yeah.
Right. And when you're in your mid-20s, such as us or other people around the world, and you just feel like you're not on that level yet, it's super detrimental to your mind, because it's like, in a way, it's a catch-22, right? Because it's like, it can motivate you, but it could also throw you down the deepest, darkest rabbit hole where you're like, what the hell have I done for the past couple of years?
Yeah, you know what? It's really easy. I say like if like we just compare like Western society in terms of like the United States, like here, like there are like levels to this shit.
There's socioeconomic levels.
That, and like the way you were mentioning how younger generations are now growing up with social media in their life. Yeah. We didn't grow up with it. I mean, grow up with it. Like,
no, I mean, when I was in
middle school was basically kind of like around the first time middle school, like not even I didn't start using a computer till I was, or actually, well, I had a computer lab in elementary school. Yeah. But I didn't use social media, or at the time, one could, if you played massively multiplayer online games, back then, that was like a form of social media, because you could meet with other people online with virtual characters in a world that is generated, by something else. I think like younger generations now that grow up with everything on their phones. Yeah. I think there's like, I mean, there is this level of like, well, maybe me not having a phone sets me back from everyone else, right? Because it's the normal thing to have a cell phone, and for someone to walk around without one, it seems almost odd. It's just odd, right? Not suspicious, but odd. And like this monk guy, like if you're saying that he, like this was a very wealthy Wall Street guy, and then decided to give a lot up and travel across the world. Now, it's like, I get it. Like if he was just like, you know what, I'm going to take a vacation. I think that's really all it was. Like, I'm not saying, because if he dedicated his earlier part of life to just say, I'm going to go work on Wall Street 88 hours a week, make tons of money, sacrifice relationships, sacrifice friendships, I get it. But if he's having a midlife crisis and decides to travel around the world and write a book about it, like, bro, that's not a fucking, that's a vacation.
Well, see, but that's the thing, is he did work the 88 hours a week. And he was just looking for something more than just money, quote unquote.
Yeah, like that guy from
to find a purpose in life.
Was it Juju Kaisen? What's his name? The guy with the axe, the one that touches you and cuts through anything.
Juju, the butcher or whatever.
The butcher, whatever. The point is,
I know who you're referring to.
Yeah, the Wall Street. Basically, like, okay, the idea is like, if you aren't interested in money anymore, what else are you looking for? Usually, in my opinion, right. I'm like, okay, he's looking for relationships. He's looking for that connection to society that he didn't have, because he spent 88 hours a week behind a computer or doing whatever he did, right? I mean, that happens. I mean, women too, like they get to a certain age.
It's finding the balance in life.
Right, because like, yeah, true balance is maybe that's the point of the book.
So yes, I that's exactly what I took from it in the end, actually, was that, there's no need to stress over things that are out of your control, but also it's okay to stress about things that, are necessities in your life.
Right, that is
like
true.
You need a home, right?
You need to eat.
Yeah. You should really focus on your hygiene.
Yeah. Some kind of, and I believe also your nutritional health.
I wouldn't say it's necessarily a necessity, because well, actually it is, because it can be it can affect your health.
Well,
So
right,
it is
the
a
gut
necessity.
thing, the gut thing. Like
Mhm.
if you're just not paying attention to what you're eating, and your sedentary lifestyle catches up with you, that can be really bad.
So let's go back to this idea of technology, right? So the crazy thing about our generation is we are really the front runners of technology.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we had little Nokia box phones. Do you recall that?
Barely, yeah.
But that's my point, right? Is that we went from that little Nokia. Like, I remember having, sorry, I remember having a house phone. A lot of places don't even have house phones anymore.
Right. Yeah. Everyone just has a cell phone now.
Everyone has a cell phone. Landlines aren't even like a thing like that.
Right.
It's kind of crazy.
Yeah. The technology, like where it's something called Moore's law,
Mhm.
right? Where like technology just exponentially is gonna get better and better at a faster rate, apparently.
Right. And
Uh huh.
with that being said, right, I mean, you've been in the NFT game for a while now. It's kind of crazy that these big marketing companies like ESPN, I know the Spanish one. I don't know what it's
La
called.
Liga.
No, not La Liga. The people who host La Liga.
Oh,
Uh,
Univision,
Yeah.
Telemundo, I believe something.
You know, everybody's starting to
BN
get into
Sports?
these NFTs and these GIFs and all of these.
Well, no, GIF is
I know
something
it's
else, yeah.
it's a different thing, but
A
it's
GIF is
essentially
just-
the
yeah.
same thing as.
No, it's not.
No, but
I could tell
okay,
you.
then educate me.
Well, okay. Basically, NFTs again stand for non-fungible tokens. Just to remind you guys, we do have a couple episodes on some of this crypto stuff. We're not experts. We're not financial advisors. I'm only telling you what I know. And yeah, I do own a couple NFTs. Basically, NFTs are assets. You know, like for example, the ability to own something that is unique. Right? There is only one Mona Lisa. Right? There can't be. You can take a picture of it. You can download a photo of it from the internet, but the physical one itself is non-fungible, right? Because there can only be one. So that's what that means basically. And the people who make jokes about like, I just bought this picture for $150,000 or $750,000. Like, I'm not surprised anymore because it has to do with the idea of collecting. Like, if you're a collector, then this idea that you just have to have everything, you just need to own it. Like, I think that's an innate thing in humans. Like, we've been collecting things for a long time. And then there are people who buy NFTs for the purposes of trying to grow their wealth, trying to gain some life-changing money. Essentially, there are artists who make really incredible art. The most popular one is Beeple, who sold his artwork called My First 5,000 Days. Is a collage of artwork that he's made since 2007, that he's published since 2007, and it sold at auction for $69 million. All right, $69 million. At the moment, there are these things called CryptoPunks, right? I believe only 1,000 of them were randomly generated. Of those randomly generated, there are 3 types, right, that can be generated with a certain type of characteristic. It's like zombie, punk, and fucking something else. Whatever. The point is they're unique. And then within those 3 unique versions, there are rarer and rarer, right? One of them is the rarest, and there's only minted a couple of them, or like up to like X amount. Basically, these pictures are essentially digital. They have like a digital stamp, a signature, which is referred to as the blockchain. They're minted on the Ethereum blockchain, which is essentially blockchains are tons of computers. Sorry if I lost you. Are tons of computers where everybody gets to see every single transaction, so that it is maintained on a ledger, right? A ledger is where the purchases are recorded, right, and transactions are made. Are recorded. The transactions are made on the blockchain.
So who is in charge of the ledger?
The ledger is multiple people, what they're referred to as nodes on a network, right? And anytime, so for let's say you're like confused about like, oh, well, what if they hack it? Well, there are multiple nodes in the network, so they would have to hack all of them at the same time. And all of these nodes are all also, they're also like working in tandem so that they get updated, right? So someone is always getting a brand new ledger, and then an older one will be replaced. So if someone says, wait, that number on the ledger is wrong, well, they just go and check the newest version, and the newest version replaces the oldest version. I might have gotten the language a little bit twisted up there on the way the transactions get checked, but essentially that's how the blockchain is maintained. The ledger is maintained between nodes, which make up the blockchain, and the blockchain, you mint things on there. Like you want to mint, I don't know, like if you take a photo of yourself or something and you want to mint it on the blockchain, no matter
right. So how do you go about
minting?
Creating that?
That's the one part I'm not actually super familiar with. A lot of the times,
it seems like at that point you could just make your own art and
essentially
just sell it for this much. And I mean, obviously you would want to be relatively well known, or set like a certain standard.
What's your opinion on art? What's your opinion on art? Because there are people who paid over $500,000 for a JPEG of a pixelated rock. You know how in Minecraft?
I saw that. I actually saw that.
Right, there were 3 people just buying them back to back. I don't know the whole full story behind them, but I'll be honest, I'm a fucking weirdo like that. I would buy one for $500,000.
See, so here's the.
So you're confused as to why I would pay $500 million. Yes.
The crazy shit is that most of this is just being bought, or not. Maybe not most of it, but I'm assuming all of it is being bought with Ethereum. Correct?
You can use cash or Ethereum, but for the most part, like you can. People refer
You'd
to
want some type of cryptocurrency.
Yes.
In order to buy these things. I didn't know that you can pay with cash.
Yeah, you can use your card to purchase them, and then like, I use Nifty Gateway, which is owned by Gemini, and if you're familiar with Gemini, it's basically a brokerage, like Robinhood, Coinbase, Binance. If you've used ever any of those, Torable or whatever. Anyways, they're all brokers. And yeah, you can use cash, and then that cash you use to buy crypto, and then that crypto can be used to buy just about anything. Like maybe sometimes people are like, well, I need it to be liquid. I need the cash now. That just takes a moment. Like instead of going to the bank, you have to, convert it, and that costs gas fees. I forgot. I'm like stupid. I forgot what gas means. But gas is like a tax. It's like a service fee because people remember the ledger is maintained by nodes. These nodes update the ledger, right? And those updates are the transactions. So every time you make a transaction, the people who are maintaining the blockchain take a cut. Same thing with miners. They get a small fee for mining. It's written into the code of Bitcoin. That's just how it works. Not the gas fees, the mining thing, but the gas fees is something that fluctuates depending on the amount of transactions happening on a blockchain at one time. I believe that's how it works.
Okay, so let me ask you this: have you sold any of your NFTs?
You know what? Did I sell any of them? Maybe 1 or 2. But you're assuming that because I sold them, they were worth money.
No. I'm not asking the price. I was just wondering more about the kind of how you received that transaction, or what even made you feel like you needed to sell.
Oh, well, okay, so
because like you said, it's an asset, right? And what do you do with assets? You sit on assets.
Correct. It's something that
because it's value.
Right. It's something that you just can't exactly like. I saw this very interesting video. It was basically a video on rare items, and it like tiered out all the most valuable things in existence at our time, like the most valuable things that people collect and want to own, like Da Vinci's Codex. Bill Gates bought that bitch for $30 million, right? And it's one of a kind. It's an antique. I mean, like,
I would.
It's something
I
that
would spend $1 million on that.
Yeah, and then
30 million.
There's
for sure.
There's a $9 million stamp
It's the Da Vinci's Codex.
Yeah, there's a $9 million stamp that exists, like a
I have no clue.
1 cent stamp. No, there is. I'm saying there is one that exists. I just don't remember if it's $9 million or $10 million, because the Mona Lisa is technically priceless, but there are things that are worth more in terms of monetary value, right? Because you can't put a price on the Mona Lisa. You can't put a price on the Statue of David. You can't put a price on those kinds of things, relics of the past, right? Things that exist that are older than written language. Well, no, than the fucking spoken word. I don't know, not the spoken word. It's just older than everything. There are these violins, the straletos or some straffetos, whatever. This family used to make violins. One of these violins goes for like 18 million, I think. I'm like butchering the number.
It's probably due to the fact, well, first off, anything that's ever handmade and not mass produced is always of higher value. So
scarcity, right? If there's not very many of them, it turns out to be valuable. But there are very little of many things. But
it's also due to the craftsmanship,
right?
You know, when it's handmade, and,
right? They were known.
Can tell. It's like what are those boots? Red Wing.
Yeah, Red Wing. They make construction boots.
Those are handmade, and that's why. Yeah, they're pretty hefty price. I mean, they're like $600.
It's just a matter of quality,
but they will also last you for 15 to 20 years. You will get your money's where it's worth.
Right, but nobody wants to buy a pair of those boots.
Indeed.
Unless they were owned by like the first president of the United States.
Yeah, I mean, Red Wing's a pretty prominent company, but I understand.
Right,
what
like
you mean.
For example, like signatures would be super valuable. Like, dude, I've totally forgot that like a LeBron James 2011 or something went for like $9 million signed, right? A Topps basketball card. I'm like, in the top, basketball card barely came out. Not that long ago.
In the
bro, the sports card game.
That's what I was going to say. In the sports card industry, the memorabilia for sports is through the roof.
I forgot.
I have things that I am sitting on, and one day I will sell. And
so there you go.
I have a feeling I will make a pretty hefty profit.
Think of that as an NFT, but it's in a physical form. If you could get it in a digital form that was unique and existed, it would, in tandem with the physical version, it might be worth even more. That's the difference between the physical and the digital. There's this like people talking about like a metaverse, which already exists. It's just not mainstream yet. Like people are just already going to be hanging out in a virtual space, owning virtual land.
This already exists.
But it's not popular to the point where like, you know, instead of buying a house in real life, you buy a house in the digital world. I mean, there are a lot of upsides and a lot of downsides. Like, one thing, you can't live in it. 2, there are no property taxes. Now, really, I mean, when you find something valuable in life and you give it like a story, I guess that's like what an heirloom is, right? Then it becomes valuable. I mean, there are things in my life that I have that I consider to be priceless, but
you want to pass down to the future generations.
Like, well, there are things you can pass on, but like, you know, physical things is cool.
I have a Rolex that I plan to give to one of my individuals.
I heard Rolexes are like the worst depreciating like things.
No, it's not about. I mean, value maybe. Yeah.
I mean, for it being a Rolex, Rolex is like
just more of like. Like I was given it on prom, and I thought like when I think about prom, although my prom wasn't, the greatest.
We went to the same prom.
Did we?
Yeah, I went to two. Shit. I went to mine, and then I went to that. That's
funny.
Yeah, it was in right there on Wilshire. No, it was at Universal Studios. It was right there. What's it called? City Walk?
I don't know.
Shitty Walk.
So,
yeah, I remember.
Anyways, when I think about prom, that's what I think about.
You got a Rolex that night?
I have a Rolex.
No, that night. I'm saying you got one that night?
I was given a Rolex, and I wore it, and I wore that shit with pride. And, I mean, there was maybe one older teacher that
one person
actually spotted it, and they're like, "That's a really nice watch," and I was like, "Oh, thank you." And then they were like, "Can I see it?" And I was like, "Well, I'm not going to take it off," so I just like showed it like that. Well, actually, it was on this hand, so I went like that. And they looked at it and they were like, "Wow, that's a really nice watch. Take care of that." And I was like, "Yeah, of course." But I also, I mean, granted, like it was just a nice gift. But that's the way I remember prom, is because of that. Like that to me, that's valuable.
Yeah,
just the memory itself.
Yeah, if you like hang on to,
essentially an heirloom, right? Now it has lore to it.
Yeah, it's got to have some kind of lore to it, or it doesn't mean much in some ways. It doesn't matter much to me if it has to be something cool. Like if it wouldn't, like I wouldn't care if this chair is the one that fucking, I don't know, some fucking superstar sat in or something, and like this chair like was the one they used to ride in and stuff.
Right.
Like there's some people who would go as far as to say like, oh, that's really valuable because that writer made this movie, but these movies were trash, and then it turns out that like later in life they're appreciated.
Right.
So
which happens with a lot of art.
Right. Like some things just get appreciated later, but I guess it's just a matter of time.
Art, music.
A lot of it is a matter of time too, and exposure. Like
it's you know what it usually is? It's a lot of creative things that usually go down like that.
Yeah, like
because
the moment you cross the line into fine art, you've entered another realm of digits. Like motherfuckers pay exorbitant amounts of money for some of the finest art in life, bro. The finest art in life. And I'm not gonna lie, the finest art in life, dog, is nice, bro. The Van Gogh pieces, it's fucking insane.
So clearly you're a fan of art.
I
like going to museums and seeing really beautiful pieces, but I'm not that person that would pay. Like for a book, I don't mind paying 30 million. That's different to me because that's a physical thing that I can like go back and look at, and I can take care of and make sure it doesn't deteriorate, all that, right? But when it comes to like pastels or oils or some type of painting like that, I don't know. It just doesn't ring me the same way as a book would.
There's a couple books I want to buy, like if I could get them as original copies.
Yeah.
Like the Bible would be dope if I could get the one that God wrote. You know what I'm saying? Or if I could get fucking, I don't know.
I'm not a religious dude, so
you don't have to be religious.
Anything to me?
No, you don't have to be religious for it. Like if they said they found the Spirit of Christ,
you don't have to be religious, but you would have more meaning to the Bible if you were religious.
No. It's all about money when it comes to how much it's worth.
Okay.
But that thing would be priceless. Right.
There's a guy on Pawn Stars.
Mm-hmm.
Is that the show?
Yeah.
Yeah, on Pawn Stars that brings in like first edition books, and he owns a bookstore. It's pretty cool. You should watch the episodes.
First edition books. That's what's up. That he brings them in. Yeah, that's cool. First edition stuff. Anything. Like if anybody was keeping up, a couple months ago, like during the earlier part of the year, Pokemon went through the roof. Like there's like a new floor. That's what they call it. The word floor refers to like how much something of that just goes for. A first edition Charizard sold for $265K, right?
Didn't he have like 12 of them?
Oh, okay, that guy that you're referring to, that guy has the biggest collection of Charizards, which are considered, which is the most valuable. Not just considered, but is the most valuable card out there. It started back in 97, right? Because Magic the Gathering, also a very popular trading card game, they started printing earlier than Pokemon, right? It's just insane, right? Because there's another value to these cards. I just recently learned about these contest drawn cards that were I was gonna say minted, basically printed only for the creators, right? A limited amount of them were only printed for creators, and in the wild, they've only heard of 3, right? And there's a total of 60 because I believe there are 20 of each contest drawn ones, and some of the most valuable ones have yet to see the light of day. It's insane. Most of them are like so damn valuable that if you weren't a fan, like I guess this is maybe what you meant, like it doesn't mean much to you because you're not a religious person.
Right.
If you're not a fan of Pokemon and you just did not know a thing or two, which would be hard because it's one of the most popular IPs in the world.
Indeed.
You would think to yourself that you have to be dumb as fuck to be spending that kind of money on a children's trading card, right? Game, piece of cardboard. Like if you just knew nothing,
yeah, I mean,
you would just be shocked as to the idea. You would even be more shocked.
You'd be shocked. I don't know if you would necessarily go like straight to like, well, that's a dumb fucking person.
I think, again, like it just creates value in the terms. It just creates value because it's scarce and not everybody owns one, and like everybody hodls them and understands that they're the most valuable card, and he's the most popular character in the franchise next to Pikachu. It's just scarcity, bro. Like dudes out here want to have multiple females and shit, but they just need that one. The one of one.
Need the one.
They just need the one of one. That's what they call them in NFTs. Like they're these one of ones that go for exorbitant amounts of money, and you think to yourself, how the fuck is this going for like 100 times its value? Like, what do people see in it? And some of it is really nice, and some of it you're just like, why? Because it's just like this.
Because it's
just
it's essentially. I mean, the one-on-one I understand.
Yeah, the ones of one.
The one of one you have to understand. It's like Nike when they don't release one of one, right? But when they do a collaboration with a star or a celebrity individual.
The Jordans
or whatever.
that Michael Jordan wore during that game in '97. The Jordans, the Air Jordans, the red ones, the red, white, and black ones. What are they? Do you know? Sneakerhead.
Red, white, and black ones.
Yeah, the ones he wore.
Probably be the Breads.
Do you know how much those went for? They went for a lot of money, and that's a Nike-owned brand. You know what I'm saying? Like Nike.
No, but
only because Jordan wore them bitches, and he was a god.
It's because Jordan is the greatest of all time,
technically speaking.
Well,
technically speaking, because I hear LeBron is like in contend.
LeBron. See, so here's the issue with LeBron lost his contention when, first off, it goes.
There's layers to
it
this
goes
bitch.
MJ, Kobe, then LeBron.
Okay, then why is
if
LeBron?
If we're talking about rings and how fast they did it,
that's crazy to think.
That's usually what the debate is about.
Well, what is it?
Stats wise, yeah, LeBron has passed MJ in the majority of stats.
Okay.
But you also have to understand in this game, it's a very different game than when LeBron played. When MJ? Jordan played.
Okay.
It's a very, very different game.
And so that's my point. It's like the man is
like the mid-range in Jordan's era was a hard shot, right? Like in that era, you wanted a big man to get down low, take a beating, and put up points. The main superstar on most teams in that era was either the point guard or the center.
Okay.
And that was it.
Okay.
And nowadays, you can have any position be a superstar.
Okay.
Because
that makes sense.
The NBA is essentially positionless at this point. Like a big man can shoot, a big man can be inside, a big man can have a midi, all of that.
Yeah,
but at the time when Jordan played, Jordan was known for his mid-range, like 100%. Because it's one of the hardest shots to make. If you play basketball, you know that.
Okay.
Because you're usually crowded by 2 or 3 people. Okay. So you pass it out.
Mid-range. Okay.
Also, you don't know how much power to actually like
release
flick into. Okay. You know what I mean?
Okay. So
by the way, I'm not a great shooter. So if I'm saying like flick into, like feel free to correct me because I am not a great shooter. I'm a driver. I'm more like Westbrook. Like I like to go for a layup or kick it out. Simple. I can't dunk. So yeah.
I don't know much, but see that's the thing. Like, then could you say like because his memorabilia? No, not memorabilia. It's more like that trading card, bro. It sold for a lot of fucking money. It like hit a new level. It's like the highest. It's the highest selling trading card, sports card
Mhm.
in the game. If it's like if that bitch sold for $8 million, you know what I'm saying? Like, how do you not say that he isn't the greatest, right? Like, just by the fact that like people are willing to spend money, that kind of money, on an autograph, right, of his, right, versus a pair of shoes that were worn by MJ during one of his best games or whatever, or like Kobe's, you
Yeah.
know,
I mean, an
jersey.
autograph is different.
It does add a new level of value,
It adds
apparently.
a new level because it's personable. Like
Yes.
they saw the card and
Yeah.
they were proud.
They
to
handed
see
it
that
back to
card.
you, yeah.
They handed it back to you.
If that's how you got it, yes.
Yeah, if that's how you got it. If it's like, I don't know. I mean, so memorabilia with cards really started with baseball cards.
Yeah, back in 1911 or something.
Something like that.
Baseball
yeah.
cards were sold they were given away in cigarette packs,
Mm-hmm.
and there was the rarest one. Not Mickey Mouse. It's the one. Fuck, I forgot his fucking name. The dude did not give the rights away for his likeness to be sold on baseball cards.
I think that might have been Shoeless Joe.
Shit.
But I could be wrong.
Well,
Shoeless
the
Joe
guy-
Jackson.
Oh fuck.
There's a great book about Shoeless Joe Jackson.
The guy basically was. So they had already printed the card out and sent it out.
Mm-hmm.
They did a recall, but some of them still made it out.
Of course.
There's only like 2 in existence or some shit, or that we know of,
Yeah, I wouldn't
and
be Shoeless Joe then.
they're technically the most valuable baseball. No, they're not the most valuable, but they were sold around, they were sold for like pennies on the dollar compared to what it is, where it's worth now, obviously,
Right.
at the time. Then it was Mickey Mantle's card, and then it was Babe Ruth's team. Who did he play for? The Brooklyn Dodgers, or am I retarded?
Oh, Ruth?
Ruth, yeah.
Yankees.
Right. See, I fucking fucked it up. That's like the opposite. Right, I should have known that.
That far off.
It's not that far off because they used to be right next to each other.
Exactly.
There was a ball with the whole team, the World Series winning team on there, him and everyone's signature. That shit went for tons of money too. I was like, yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, because
I wouldn't personally want to pay for that because I'm just like, yeah, like if I was,
because it doesn't really mean anything.
it doesn't
to
resonate
you.
with me.
But-
Yes.
But the other thing to that is, with LeBron, it also just depends how good of a career these people had. Like there's a player for the Angels named Mike Trout. He's arguably the best baseball player we've ever seen.
I'm not familiar with him. Uh-huh.
Yeah, he plays on the Angels. Nobody likes the Angels anyways.
I don't
And he
even
live in
know.
Los
I forgot the
Angeles.
Angels still fucking played.
So, yeah. So my point is at the end of Trout's career, more than likely he will be the greatest of all time to ever play baseball, like 100%.
Okay.
And the difference between Trout and Mantle, Ruth, Shoeless Joe, Jackie Robinson, all
Uh-huh.
that is that baseball is arguably the same game
Okay.
than back then. Whereas NBA has changed drastically.
I see what you're saying. Like the fundamentals have changed, unlike
Yeah.
baseball, which has been the same game
Yeah,
for since its inception, basically.
what do you? If you're a baseball fan, you call it America's game.
Yeah,
right.
and it's funny. I was telling him the joke the other day. It's like America invented baseball, and they call themselves world champions.
Indeed.
I wonder if the recruiting system just handpick people all over the world. That would make sense. But don't they have an Olympics for that also?
What, baseball?
Yeah.
They do handpick
That's what I'm
people
saying.
all over the world. That's why like the Dominican Republic is usually up there with us. They create really, really good baseball players.
Of course. Then I wonder why.
Probably, I mean, I don't think they're that big on football, like soccer.
I mean, our influence. You would think our influences would reach them more
Yeah.
than like other countries, because you look at some other countries in the Western style has just been like incorporated, right? What was I gonna say? Fucking, well, we were talking about the baseball guy, right, and the value that these cards have as time went on. I mean, basically, like, I would buy things that are really valuable if they were going to give me a big return. Like, I knew enough about that, like baseball, that like, okay, there's a market for it. I can probably get rid of it.
But the biggest problem, so I understand what you mean, right? But and this is the reality behind it. Everyone who's like, oh, I said he was going to be good, like, you're not a recruiter at the end of the day. Your job is not to actually follow this person's like stats throughout the whole world, or not the whole world, but the whole time they've been playing.
Yeah.
However, with that being said, there's a Manning family child. I believe his name's Archie Manning, and he is the next best quarterback. But anyways, my point is that you're always taking a gamble when you're buying these cards, because you don't necessarily know who's going to come out of it as like the best in their class. Like there could be a lot of failures out of a draft, and that's in any sport, right? Like in basketball,
right? Like you think of like
people.
LaMelo Ball, fucking what's his first name? Arrizabalaga? Kappa? Arrizabalaga?
Yeah, Kappa.
Those are like just some examples I can think of. I really can't think of anything else. But
that have
like flopped?
LaMelo Ball?
Did he flop?
Fuck no.
I don't know shit. Dog. I don't know fucking
he
shit.
He won Rookie of the Year.
Oh, did he? No, not him.
Lonzo Ball.
Lonzo.
So yeah.
LaMelo did win Rookie of the Year.
Lonzo has
I'm stupid.
But I would say Lonzo is not, and I can finally admit this to anybody who's watching, because I know, some of you always try to tell me, he wasn't worth the second pick. Lonzo Ball. I do agree that at this current moment, from the stats that we've seen and what he has to offer, Lonzo Ball was not worth the second pick to the Los Angeles Lakers. I mean, at the end of the day, yes, we could have had Jason Tatum, but we also don't know how that would have played out. Jason Tatum ended up going to the Celtics at number 3.
Is he related to Channing Tatum?
No. He's not related to Channing Tatum, you fuckhead.
Yeah, no, see, I don't keep up with that kind of level of... See, and that's the thing, like, with that kind of knowledge, you can apply that to the community. See, because
this is why I'm going to start a sports podcast.
I was just going to say, not just that, but I was just going to say, like, that also comes with you buying into this collector or this piece of fine collectible, whatever you have. Mm-hmm. Like, you buy into that community of people. Like, the NFT thing, like, people buying, like, I think right now just don't understand. They think it's kind of cool, like they're super cheap NFTs. Like you could buy some for like $1 or $2. Like it's not like they're all expensive. It's just a matter of like the technology is where it's going is what's important right now. Like educating yourself on like, how it works is cool. Would be nice too. Like it's just an emerging subject of, great interest, and like people are gonna make a lot of money. Like we've already seen it happen.
Well, this is why I have you.
Yeah, and then talking about making, getting that Birkin bag.
Yeah.
Getting that Birkin bag.
I'm always trying to get a Birkin.
Yeah. OnlyFans recently was pressured by the banks to have them stop taking money for sexually explicit content.
Yeah, so now I don't understand how they pressured them into that.
Well, for the longest time, sex workers, I think they still can't. Banks do not do business with anything that is illegal, right? So you can already think of a couple things. If you're a drug dealer, how are you going to put that money in the bank? They're going to ask you, where the fuck is this money coming from? Now the question is like, why the fuck is the bank asking you where you got your money from? Right? That's your business. The IRS, that's something else. Now, that's not to say that they're not going to come knocking on your door asking, okay, where'd you get this money? What I'm saying is the banks, in some ways, can dictate, certain business practices. And what I mean by that is like weed dispensaries also cannot do business with banks because they're technically federally illegal. So with OnlyFans, like the biggest criticism I heard was that we have banks who are like trying to dictate like this moral law of like, well, this sexually explicit content isn't acceptable and we're not going to take your money. Now, really, it's like, another one was like, oh, the biggest joke was like, oh, these OnlyFans girls are now gonna are like sending in their McDonald's application.
Right. Kevin Samuels has a podcast. You know who Kevin Samuels is, and then one of them he brings on these women that are doing OnlyFans and making pretty hefty amount, probably in like the 1.2% as far as top creators. And one of the things he tells them is that the money that they make, they should be investing it into assets.
Mm-hmm.
And what they say is, well, I'm investing into myself. I'm investing into my body because this is a sustainable income. And he tells them at the end of the day, it's not. Like fast money is never a sustainable income.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like, you know what?
So my point being is when
that was his joke, right? That was
so when the big announcement came out that they were banning sexual content, Samuels went on, and he's petty. Like he went on his page and he put in the
bitches like that. Bitches like that.
It's
the petty shit,
huh?
Bitches like that petty shit. But
Somewhat,
they don't like.
yeah.
Some of them do.
Some not even some of them. I mean, the majority. It's just more along the lines like everybody's petty in their own way. You know, you may not understand how petty you are until someone actually calls you out and you're like, yo, you're petty as shit. Or when you're explaining a story and you explain how you handled it, like you'll know if you're petty by someone's body reaction. I'll be like, whoa, like you did what? So, yeah, but go on.
Cool. Yeah. So, so the especially explicit content stuff, like everybody's initial reaction was like, oh my God, what the fuck? Like the whole point was, like you said, you brought this up off the podcast. You were like, yeah, OnlyFans was not made for sexually explicit content. You know, people already do that outside of OnlyFans. Snapchat was like on top of that bitch for the longest, you know?
Yeah, I would actually say, I mean, I don't necessarily know if Snapchat was created to like send explicit
No, I meant like
content.
that's what it had been like. I saw like the other road that people took to use Snapchat as a way to what is it? Fucking promote sexually explicit content.
Yeah,
because
I mean, even when we were in high school, like I've never been comfortable with sending nudes. That's just personally my thing. I don't know. First off, I don't like to be in front of.
If I was hot, well, I kind of am, but like if I was hotter when I took my shirt off, I wouldn't mind taking nude photos.
Yeah, so maybe at the time, maybe I thought I had like a little shrimp dick or something, and that's why I was
regardless,
like, I was
yeah.
at the time.
At the time,
no,
it's not a shrimp no more. It's a fucking.
But
what's the bigger one of the shrimp? The sprawl? No, prawn.
A prawn.
A prawn.
There you go.
There's from a shrimp, a prawn. Yeah, it's a prawn.
So the point is when I was in high school, like I had a significant other, didn't really last long, but I remember that, you know, she wanted to explore that avenue of
sending nudes to each other.
Yeah, of sending nudes to each other. And I told her, I was like, yo, I'm not down with that, because like, you know, you can have that in your phone. And at the time, I believed I was going to be this like Bill Gates billionaire by the time I was like 23, and I was
any
like,
motherfucker who thought like that at the time.
Yeah, no, I was highly motivated when I was in high school. Like, I remember even when I was out of high school, when I was like 18, I started talking to this girl, and she was like, so what do you do with your day? And I told her, I go to school from this time to this time, I work from this time to this time, and then on my off time, I'm investing in myself with like writing a book, like all this shit. And she was like, God damn, like, you're 18, sir, like, relax.
Okay.
And I mean, I ended up like blowing my brain out because of it. But,
true, yeah, I remember.
Yeah, you know, but the point is that she wanted to explore these things with me, and I had no idea, like, because I just didn't feel comfortable with that. And she was like, oh, well, we could just use Snapchat. It's like a 5-second thing. I can just see what you're working with.
I remember.
And I was like, you want to see what I'm working with? I was like, girl, you can just feel what I'm working with.
That's
like,
a good point. Yeah, like,
you know,
old fashioned. Yeah.
Like, you know, you can just feel. We can meet up. We can do what we got to do. Like, stop playing.
Feel up on this prawn,
type
girl.
Of shit, right? But I just remember when she said that, like, I downloaded Snapchat, I looked at it, and I was like, what the fuck? Like, this shit is really used for nudes. And I remember I told my friend the next day, and he was like, yeah, bro, you don't have a Snapchat yet? He was like, I get nudes all the time. And I was like, what the fuck? Like, So I was late to the game, but the point being is that to me, Snapchat was actually made to send nudes like that.
No.
Like this. No, I mean, think about it.
No,
Like,
that's
truthfully.
not. No, I think Snapchat. I forgot what it was made for. I don't really give a fuck what it was made for.
Bro, it has a timer set. It
Yeah,
literally
it's
has a
like
timer set.
I
What do
just don't.
You send in a picture for 10 seconds to be like, hey, what's up? Like, nah, bro, send me some titties. Stop
Okay,
playing.
yeah, maybe the dudes who coded it were like, yeah, we want to be able to make a user friendly message service that like peer to peer where your messages don't save or whatever. Yeah.
Wasn't Kick really big at the time too?
I remember Kick.
Kick
It's just
was
an instant
huge.
messenger, right? I remember the other one where you could like walkie talkie messages and stuff. You can do that now automatically on
Which
whatever.
one are you referring to?
I don't remember. That's the thing exactly. It was like orange and
that was
black.
Kick.
Was it Kick? There was another
no, if
one.
it was orange and black. It was probably Uvo.
Yeah, it was Uvo. It was Uvo.
Some shit
Uvo.
like that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's funny.
yeah.
You remember? Interesting. Yeah, I don't fucking remember the name.
I had some great conversations on Uvo.
I remember AIM and shit.
AIM.
I remember just being a fucking child and like wanting to be up in chat rooms. Like the oldest friend in my
Shout out
group,
Vixen.
Vixen, not the porn channel.
No, what? No, there was an artist named Vixen who had, in the song, like, she was like talking shit or whatever, and you hear the AIM sound go off. She's like, bitch, I know that's you on my messages. Like, it was wild. It was some shit like that.
Okay, that's cool.
If you know who Vixen is, then
I don't
you know
who
what
that
I'm
is.
referring
Okay.
to.
Yeah.
I
mean,
don't think she said bitch, you're in my messages. But I remember the AIM sound, and I remember that was such a fire thing at the time where everybody was like, yo, this bitch is like, she's like the Doja Cat type of shit. Like, she just implemented that cool
into culture and her like her
you know what I
subculture
mean?
into her music. Interesting.
It was a real ratchet song.
It's kind of like Patreon. Patreon, you get paid like these
What's
subscription
like Patreon?
models. Patreon, like, just
No. What is like Patreon?
OnlyFans.
Oh, okay.
It's a subscription based model. People pay you for the content you provide them. Like I actually
We should start a Patreon. Do you think anybody would subscribe?
we're gonna find out after like we go fully independent.
Okay.
If we go when we go in that direction, because right now we're, I heard that it takes 10 years to master anything. It takes 10 years to be a master at something.
I thought it's like 3,000 hours or something like that.
Well,
no,
10 years. Just think of it as 10 years, right? It takes 10. If you're doing the same thing,
as an adult, it'd be 10 years. Yes.
just in general, like if you've been doing something for 10 years, I believe you're good enough. You're like almost a master at it, if not already. And I've
Okay.
heard this from like very intelligent people. But this is probably
Jordan
like
Peterson had ass.
no, actually, this is from this other guy who happens to be a Magic the Gathering.
By the way,
collector.
this guy
Huh?
talks so much shit about self-help, but he watches nothing but self-help videos.
No, Jordan Peterson is not self-help.
It's self-help and motivation.
No, it's not. It's awareness of like psychology, right? He's a clinical psychologist from the University of Toronto. Okay,
Which is what?
what do you mean?
Self-awareness of psychology. What is that?
Okay,
That's
basically,
self-help dumb shit.
no, it's not.
But go on.
Okay, wait. Look, basically, the OnlyFans thing with the banks was like they rolled it back.
Mm-hmm.
They're not gonna be like harassing them about it. What's happening, I think, is they were trying to weed out the really explicit people, right? Because OnlyFans, like it's just like, dude, it's like
really
Google.
explicit
Google.
people?
Like you can't like shit on people and sell that as videos
Why not?
because it's just taboo. It's just not something we do in the States.
It's
People
a damn lie. It's been happening on the black market for years.
exactly.
And now they finally have an actual...
Exactly. Let them go do it on the black market, not on OnlyFans. OnlyFans is a mainstream pornography. No, it's not just pornography.
Yeah, it's not
It's not just pornography. There are creators on there, but the connotation behind OnlyFans is that like you're on there selling nude photos of yourself,
Mm-hmm.
and then Patreon is like the Christian version of like OnlyFans because people sell like semi nudes, right, in like very revealing clothing,
Mm-hmm.
and that shit just pisses me off because I'm like, these fucking nerds, or not nerds, these fucking coomers, these people who are subscribing to these females. I'm not upset at the females for getting these guys to subscribe to their half-naked photos of them that they share on Instagram
men
all the
can
time.
do it too.
What I'm saying is that, bro, just go Google porn. Stop subscribing to the women.
No. Now you're contradicting yourself.
If your ex, okay, not if your ex.
Now you're contradicting.
No, I'm not.
yourself.
No, I'm not.
Yes, you are.
No, what am I saying? What am I saying? What did I say? I said that if these guys are gonna spend their money looking at half-naked women, it's a waste of money. Is what I'm saying. You're fucking stupid. Stop it. I'm not saying.
Haven't you done that though?
I have.
That's my point.
And from experience.
Okay, so you're speaking from experience.
I'm speaking from experience.
That it wasn't worth it.
It wasn't worth it.
Okay, fair enough.
Okay, I've been to a strip club once, and like, it's like the most fucking. It's not even that it's boring. It's that I have to be so fucking desperate to want to enjoy it. I'm not saying this in a bad way. It's just that's how I felt at the time because.
Why did you go to the? Were you feeling sad when you went to the strip club though?
Was I feeling sad?
Yeah.
Sad? No, I was like excited to see what the place was all about.
But like, you know what it's about.
Nah, you really don't, because if
you have to go in order to experience it.
Yeah, because like if all you do.
I mean, I've never been to a strip club, so that's fair.
Yeah, and I've been to 2, and the first time I went, horrible. The second one I went to was actually a really good time, because it was less of a strip club and more of a titty bar.
Okay, this is Sam's.
This is Sam's.
After dark.
After dark. Have you been?
No.
Okay.
I went with you guys to Sam's.
Did you?
But I did. So listen, I went with you guys to Sam's. And then I don't know if we all didn't want to pay like the after night fee or whatever, but I didn't want to pay it. So I went home after that.
Were you with Jonathan and us?
Yes. And your other homegirl.
The
other homegirl.
Ureli was with us also?
Ureli was with us. And then
it's hard for me to remember.
The other friend. I don't remember.
Chris?
Mel.
Mel was with us too? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Mel was with us.
Damn, I really don't remember. Anyway.
Yeah, this is why you don't smoke weed, kids. Because of this shit right here. This happens all the time to people I talk to where they go, I don't remember that. I'm like, yeah, that's why I don't smoke
it probably
weed.
Wasn't that important, you know?
But you remember going to Sam's after dark. So it was definitely
but it
important.
wasn't with you though. I went the first time with someone else. That time I went with you, I was comfortable going because I had already been there, and I'm like, yeah, it's a good time. So I would recommend going there after dark versus going to a strip club. I don't know how COVID works now. I wonder if they have walls up, between you and the fucking pole dancers or whatever. And maybe the fucking the titty bar is no longer a titty bar. They just wear bras,
That would be tragic.
Or the see-through bras, I guess. I would make it more COVID friendly. They just wear these see-through bras and shit, like, or why don't they just dress up as sexy nurses and shit? Halloween came early this year, so I mean, like, I don't have a problem with people who, with females who use it as a way to make money. Like, I heard about this nurse who got fired because
I know who you're referring to.
Yeah,
I
her
saw
job
that on Twitter.
Her job basically found out. They fired her. They're like, you either choose between this or that, and that's it. We're like, and she was like, well, I'm making more money than ever on this versus working as a nurse. Like,
but this is the problem, right? Is that,
like, where's the freedom at?
No, so I get. I mean, 1, you're making more money, and 2, you're also doing much less harder work.
Mm-hmm.
But the other problem too is it's fast money. It's not sustainable.
I don't think it's fast money. I've seen.
It is.
No, it's not.
Because of off of that article alone, she got way more traction, and people probably subscribed to her. So off of that article alone, she probably. I mean, I'm just estimating, but I'll say that she probably got maybe 100 to 150 subscribers if they reached what, like.
And okay, now do the math.
100,000.
Now do the math. If each of them pay $5 a month, how much?
But
is
you don't. That? Did you go to her page?
No, because you can't.
Then you don't know if it's $5 because you can charge up to $50 to $100 to
But that's what I'm saying. Like, if it's just $5, can you just imagine? Like,
if it's just $5,
how much is that? 100 people times 5 is how much? That's $500 a month. $500 a month. 500 times 12 is what?
I mean, I'm telling you.
What's 500 times 12?
Clearly
that's a
more
car
than
payment.
$5 if she's making more money than a
doesn't
nurse.
matter if it's more. If it's 110. The point is that
it does matter.
Okay. It matters if we're like counting, but we're not counting. We're just trying to make the point that, like, well, I was trying to say that I don't think it's fast money. I think it's more like, because what if you're ugly? Unfortunately, like, if you're just not pulling anybody.
No, you have to be good looking. That's the difference.
Okay, but but an OnlyFans creator who isn't pulling that, what do you say to them? Like, Okay, I would understand because like it's a choice, and like if they're doing it in their free time, and if it unless it's picking up traction, I don't know. Like people.
What are you trying to say?
What I'm trying to say is like it's not fast money, like, and I think it is sustainable short term. Long term, maybe
It's not. That's the thing. Long term, it's not. Maybe short term.
yeah.
But long term, no way in hell.
Unless these women are financially literate, and
Mhm.
then they save up to invest in something that they understand that this line of work will be maybe, I don't know, it's just different nowadays. I don't think that I think that people are much smarter than we give them credit for. I think like if someone who does do OnlyFans and they
look, if you're hot and you have a good amount of subscribers, it's a great side hustle.
Yeah.
100%. I mean, because all you do is you spend maybe 10, 15 minutes, because chances are, people, the only way you're going to get the higher price people is by doing the more raunchier things. Sticking a finger somewhere, using a toy, maybe even getting fucked and
not
posting
necessarily,
it.
bro. I've seen people who just sell feet pics and like.
I mean,
maybe don't
yes,
even go that far.
but that's a fetish. That's the thing.
Okay, but still, regardless of but we're just them talking about using OnlyFans, right? But if you're being specific, I would say that people who sell
The more raunchier shit would get the higher percentage.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah,
probably.
100%.
Because people love seeing wild shit, especially with people that they know. Like what's some wild shit we could do? But we would only let people on OnlyFans watch it. You know what I mean? Like, it would be personal. Like, okay, if we started a Patreon.
I don't know how to feel about.
What do you mean?
What do you mean?
Well, because like.
The fuck?
Well, not like if like let's say we had a vlog or something we wanted to share.
Right.
We'd be like, all right, these kinds of vlogs we're gonna share.
My life's boring though.
Right, we do have boring lives. I was just gonna say, we'd just be showing it to a select group of people who choose to pay for that video. Again, like you said, OnlyFans is not just for sex. Apparently, it's used for creators as well. I'm not familiar with any creator that uses OnlyFans that is not
exactly
selling.
what it was created for. Like
what?
For
Nudes?
creators,
right?
To sell their.
That's why they call it OnlyFans. It's for OnlyFans, yeah.
For their product or to. It was mainly used for like music lessons, right? So someone would subscribe to you, and then you would teach them, based on what they asked you, or like, based on what they asked you, and you would create a video, and you would teach them what they wanted to know.
Yeah,
but it was the original Fiverr. That's the best way to put it. Okay, it was the original Fiverr.
But on Fiverr, you're not paying for people's content; you're paying for people's services.
Yes,
and then you've got. What was the other one? Fuck, I just had it.
Fiverr did a better job, but it was the original Fiverr.
No, sorry, there we go. Skillshare.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so like Skillshare is where people.
I know what Skillshare is.
Right, the independent content creators or whatever, however the fuck it works. You can pay for certain courses online.
Yeah.
Basically, if OnlyFans.
Which is brilliant because teachers don't make enough. But if you.
Yeah, if a female, like if a teacher, like
so
I was just gonna say, like, if it's a naked cook, like she's cooking naked or something, and she does it on OnlyFans, I'd be like, okay, like she's teaching you cooking lessons naked. Like that's adult content.
It's two things that guys want: food and sex.
Well, no, naked women. Because she's naked. She's not having sex.
No, sex doesn't just mean like
sex.
Penetration. No, you're thinking penetration.
No, you think that's sex. No, because you'd be holding girls' hands and be like, oh, we just had sex.
I do not do that. That's disrespectful.
No, it's not. I was making a joke.
I know you're joking, but you got me fucked up.
Well, you don't think that's what kids do? They're like, oh my God, we're gonna hold hands. It's like, bases, like people.
Yeah, but I'm an adult.
Right.
Stupid shit.
Well, like, I mean, that's what I was saying.
So,
I was calling
what is sex?
Penetration.
That's different.
No, it's
yes,
not.
It
that's
is.
what sex is. What?
No, it's not.
Okay, what is sex? What is sex?
It's not just penetration.
Okay, what
is sex biologically, huh?
You're male or female.
Exactly.
Right.
So they're selling sex. You got a fucking female. No, I'm fucking.
That was a good one though. That one flew over my head because I'm like, they're selling sex. I'm like, oh fuck, that's a good one. No, I get it. No, it just clicked. I got you. That was a good one.
I'm sometimes smart.
No, that was actually really good. That was clever. It flew over my head. I didn't say it. Look, if she then that I'm cool with that. Like I'll watch this. I'll like if Gordon Ramsay started an OnlyFans and he's like, yeah, I'm gonna be doing my YouTube videos, but I'm gonna be naked. That's like, yeah, that's where I would go and be like, yeah, I would. That's something I would pay to see. Like if you did it for free, I'd be like, huh, you know. Like if a female just started giving away her shit for free, you know what I mean? Like what does that say about her? She doesn't know her worth.
You know, I don't know, but I do know there was a woman who like helped the forest fires in like Australia or some shit like that.
Being naked?
On OnlyFans.
I remember.
You remember what I'm talking about? I think it was
she
like
raised money.
$15 a month or some shit like that, and she was damn fine.
Well, she fucked up.
But no. She still does it.
Oh, okay.
I saw. So I'm part of
An OnlyFans
Reddit
group?
IMA. AMA. Ask me anything. Yeah. Is that the one where they
ask you anything?
Say who they are though?
What do you mean? Yeah, they just say, yeah, you can go ahead and ask me anything.
Yeah, they're like, this is who I am. Go ahead and ask me anything.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that's IMA. And then it's like,
what's IMA?
IMA. Like,
what's that?
Oh, you're right. Actually, I'm tripping. That's
okay.
another one I'm subscribed to. Because it's interesting. Like sometimes they have really interesting jobs, and I like to read it. So I'm like, oh, like I didn't even know that job existed.
Yeah, there's a lot of weird jobs out there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, but the point is that you know she was hot enough to bring in that many people.
Right. Again, like if she was ugly and no one had subscribed to her,
it's just not.
It would have been on the front of the fucking Onion, and it would have been fucking hilarious.
You have to know, in a sense, and you have to be real with yourself. Like, you know, how good looking are you actually? And
to start an OnlyFans, if you're good looking and you're a female and you start an OnlyFans, and you're just like, this is like sex work, right?
Yeah. I mean, it is sex work. It's not like sex work. It is.
Yeah. I mean, I'd like to distinguish sex work between like prostitutes and like
but
women.
That's not fully true.
I know, like I think it's because like,
but that's your opinion, and that's okay.
I don't know if like women
is.
comparing like prostitutes versus like women who sell pictures of their bodies online. I don't know if like, I think one gets more like I don't know, like recognition than the other, like in terms of like one is putting their livelihood on the line.
I mean, yeah, but at the end of the day, it's the same shit essentially. I mean, one just deals
does
with
it physically, and then the other one does it virtually.
Yeah,
you know, in the future, you're gonna be able to have sex with your OnlyFans creator by simply putting a helmet on.
Cyberpunk.
Mirror
dance. Is that what it was called?
Brain dance. Yeah. Shit. I didn't really have anything else to talk about today. We did go a little long talking about some other shit. It was another chill episode. I know we talk a lot about politics the last couple episodes, so
right.
We're just chilling today. I do want to thank everybody who tunes in every week. I do see that we have a consistent amount of views.
Mm-hmm.
Little by little, we're building an audience, Nick.
Yeah.
Little by little. I do see that some of you don't watch all the way through at one time. I know sometimes that happens. If you're wondering why there was no sound at the beginning of the last one, I just muted the track right there at the beginning. So anytime you do that, just know I uploaded it like at 3 in the fucking morning, because I'm like, this fool Nick calls me and it's like, it doesn't matter. The point is,
yeah,
I did it at 3.
Because first off, he's like, yo, it's going to be done by this day. And I'm like, okay, cool. And then I don't see it's up. So I call him and I give him like 2 days. And then I call him and he's like, oh, yeah, no, I'm going to do it tonight. And I'm like, bro, this is why you have a set schedule planned. Like, this is why you need to write things down.
And I could,
but you know, we're 22 episodes in. Hopefully by 40, David finally unders that you got to
10 years later, we're finally
down.
a master at this. Yeah, no. And so basically, like, if the sound is missing, don't panic. It's not you. It's me.
Yeah. Anyways, thank you guys for tuning in as always.
See you guys next time.
Yeah.
Peace.
Peace.